Okay, on question number 1, select the best answer. Circle which of the following is not a function. The reason why h is not a function is because 2 is repeated twice. That is why it's not a function. Each x can only have one y, and in this case, 2 is paired with 1, and 2 is paired with 7, therefore it's not a function. On number 2, when it says evaluate, you have to plug in that 4 into x, okay? So you're really trying to find f of 4. So 3 times 4 is 12, minus 7 is 5, so when x is 4, y is 5. On number 3, a cell phone company charges $50 for the phone, all right, so that's a flat rate of 50, and then it says plus a monthly service charge of $30 per month. So that's their $30 per month. The $50 is the service charge, so that's up front. So there's your function rule. All right, so you have, now I wrote T is for total charges, and M is for monthly charges. You could have also written C for charges or F, and you could have done F of X, C of M. You know, you decide, make sure it's one that is appropriate for what we're doing. All right, now how much money will the phone cost in 10 months? You simply plug it in. So you're trying to find T of 10. So when you put that in, you end up getting $350. So what I put in as a complete sentence, in 10 months, the total cost will be $350. Now in this particular problem, according to the graph, what is the value of f of x? In other words, what's the value of y when x is negative 3? So when you go, x is this line right here. So when you go to negative 3, you simply go up to the graph and where it touches, and then basically what you're going to do is you're going to see where it comes all the way across. Okay, so let me go ahead and erase that real quick. So where it comes across is right there. So at positive 2. So when x is negative 3, y is going to be positive 2. Therefore, you have the coordinate point negative 3, 2. Okay, on number 5, it says write a function. Now, I've given you the domain, which are the x's, and the range, which are the y's. Now, notice I put it in a table. So what you have to do is you've got to figure out what are you going to do to x in order to get y. So in other words, I looked at multiplication first, and I looked at negative 2 times a positive 2, and that gives me a negative 4. But then I looked at negative 1 times positive 2, and that gives me negative 2. Well, I need a negative 3. Not going to work. So I know it's not multiplying it by 2. So the next thing I try is I try looking at adding or subtracting. Well, how do I get from negative 2 to negative 4? On a number line, if I have negative 2 and I have negative 4, I would subtract 2. So that's what happens. If I subtract 2 from every x, like 2 minus 2, that gives me 0. 1 minus 2 is negative 1. 0 minus 2 is negative 2. Therefore, this is my rule. F of x is equal to x minus 2. On number 6, you're going to deposit $500. All right? And then every month after that, you're going to deposit $100 more each month. So now notice, this is my starting point. That's month 0. In February, I'm going to deposit $100. In March, I'm going to deposit $100. In fact, every single month, I'm going to deposit $100 all the way up to December. Well, I can't include January, so February will be the first month I deposit $100. Therefore, December is the 11th month. And then asking how much money did Avery have in your account at the end of December? Well, since December is my 11th month in this scenario, 11 times 100 is 1,100. Plus the $500 initially I put in January gives me a total of $1,600 at the end of the year. So my domain, since my domain is the months, but it also includes the days, I put that from 0 to 12. Actually, it should be 11. But from my starting month of 0 to my ending month of December, which is my 11th month, again, that should be 11. And this is going to include all the days in between. Now, the range is how much money I'm going to have. So between January to December, I'm going to start off with 500, and then I'm going to end up with 1,600. So it's all the amounts in between. So 500 is less than or equal to y, which is less than or equal to 1600. Then it says, how much is she going to have at the end of 3 years? Well, remember, if I go 2 more additional years, 2 years gives me 24 months. Well, I've already got 11 months, so total I have 35 months I have to consider. That is why I put f of 35. I plugged it in, and I got $3,500 plus 500. So at the end of 3 years, I will have saved $4,000. On number 7, what is the range? Remember, your range are your y values. Therefore, you just list it, 0, 5, 6, and 7. On number 8, which of the following relations is a function? Notice the 1 repeats as an x, the 5 repeats as an x, the 6 repeats as an x, and the only one that doesn't have an x that repeats is D, and that is my answer. Each x has only one y. On number 9, which equation shows the relationship between x and y values? The answer choice is A, because it's the only one. I chose x is 4 for all of these, and notice when I plug in x for 4 in all of these, this comes out to when x is 4, y is 8, when x is 4, y is 4/5, and when x is 4, y is 0, and the only one that should come out to be is when x is 4, y should be 20, and this is my answer. So the answer choice is A. On number 10, which function could represent the following situations? Tickets cost $8.50 each, or $8.50 each. Well, the only one that equates to that is this one. This is $8.50 per ticket. This is $8.50 divided by each ticket. This is each ticket divided by $8.50. And this is each ticket plus $8.50. And again, the answer choice is C. Eliza jogs more often in the summer months than in the winter months. This equates to the seasons. So basically, how long she jogs depends on what season it is. Therefore, season is independent. It can stand by itself. And then how long she jogs depends on whether it's in the summer month or the winter months. On number 12, you had to create a mapping, or you actually took the mapping, and what I did was I converted it to these coordinate points and then matched it up to the correct answer, which was D. On number 13, again, I created a mapping. Now remember, you only have to list it twice. So you notice that 2 and 2, I only wrote it down once. Then I have a 3 and then a 4. Then on my y's, I have a 4, a 5, and then of course I have the 1s listed just once. And then when I match them up, does this illustrate a function? And the answer is no. This 2 right here has more than one y, and that is the 4 and the 5. On number 14, it says create a table that is not a function and explain what makes it not a function. Well, I made this real simple. I put a 2 in for all my x's. And so each x, or the x has more than one y. So in other words, if I were to create a mapping, I'd have 2 in the middle. And then, of course, in my other mapping, it'd go to 3, 4, 5, and 6. So therefore, that is why it is not a function. And on number 15, which is the dependent and which is independent? Well, when milk sells for $3.39, I'm talking about the amount of money you make, or the amount of money you spend depends on the number of gallons that are bought. So the number of gallons is your independent. The amount of money that you either spend or you make is dependent. Finally, on number 16, notice what I did. I have to determine the domain and range of the graph. Now this is a little different. So if you'll look, what I did was domain are your x values. So I went straight down, and that is -4. Okay, that's -4, and this is +2. So that's why I put -4, +2. And then it's your x's. So notice, here's my domain. X's are between, it's everything in between right there, from -4 to +2. Let me erase that. Okay. Then when you look at your y values, all right, you go from least to greatest. Now, folks, this is your smallest, and 3 is your greatest. So we're going greater than -3, but we're going less than +3. So when you flip it on its side, what ends up happening is this. Notice it's just like the domain. All right, so I want to know the distance between these, and that's what I did. So I wrote it down here. -3 is my lowest, +3 is my highest, and the y's are between. So it has to be y's that are greater than or equal to the -3, but less than or equal to the +3. And that's why that's my range.